Everyone. I am here. I think my internet is kind of glitchy, so I want to apologize up front. So I hope that, let's see, I just want to make sure we're streaming because it said that my Facebooky thing disconnected over the weekend. So I want to make sure that I connected it properly. It looks like I did. So hopefully, and we're global. Yay! Okay. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Monday. And just an FYI, it's a little kind of stormy here, very a little windy, but I have the windows open because it's still kind of warm and I'm trying to embrace the springs. But it slammed the door shut like 10 minutes before we go live. And so Puppy of Light Buddy is a little bit scared. So he's right here. So if he jumps up or he starts pawing at me, just know that that's what's going on. He's having a little anxiety. So he's just, needs some extra love. But today, I want to say hello and welcome to my channel. Welcome to Soul Coach Studio TV. I am Soul Coach Michelle, your friendly neighborhood super woe and manifesting coach. And this is the weekly energy report. And what this is the energy of the collective, what's going on, how do we navigate it? And because everybody loves oracle cards as much as I do, I love these lovely pictures. And this is my favorite one. Is very gentle, the animal spirit oracle, which is this. If you love this or you like the messages that come through from these cards and you think they're pretty, you can get them. The link is below so that you know where to get them. And let's see. Oh, of course, I think I've forgotten to mention last couple times. If you like this, you want to get a notification that tells you when I'm live and when new videos go up. Just make sure you subscribe to my channel by clicking the subscribe button, which is like down here, I think, and the bell so that it lets you know when I go live. And so you can come and hang out. And then also, if you're new or if you haven't grabbed it yet, there is a free course. There's a link to a free manifesting course below. It's 7 little lessons, super, super easy, flowy, not full of, glitter covered bullshit. It's all my typical spiritual, practical, and no more glitter covered bullshit manifestology protocols. So you can grab those. That's free. And then to everybody who attended the Reconnect, Align, and Manifest workshop last Friday, the replay will be going out today, just so that you know. And yes, I will include the worksheets and some other things for you, the links and things that were mentioned in the workshop for the curiosity calls. So, and next week, I will be sharing and opening up curiosity calls for everyone. But because folks attended and registered for the workshop, they get first dibs on curiosity calls. So just be aware that whenever I offer stuff, even free stuff, the people that register and attend get special gifties from me or special first dibs from me. So just know that whether you're on the mailing list or you're coming to workshops, anybody that's in the inner circle. So if you're watching this and you're like, I love her stuff, yay, how do we stay in touch? And how do I get access to first dibsies for things before all the spots are taken? Or because that's usually when I open it up to everybody else, is when the if there's open spots afterwards. And this is for whether it's a free session or the holiday seasons readings kind of stuff. But the people that get first dibsies are people on my newsletter list, which the link is below. It's all free. You just got to be in there. Or folks that have attended workshops that are on that list. And there are special gifties in the workshops. So you just got to make sure you're registered, even if you can't attend, so you can watch the replays and see what's going on and then get any sort of gifties that come with it. So make sure when you see the free workshops, when you see like the link to join the newsletter, just come on in and hang out, because you get special lovey hugs from me and not just weekly readings. Okay. So that said, so I think that's it. The workshop folks, just again, the replay is coming. There was some editing I had to do because there was a lot of like me rambling on about stuff, and some stuff got cut off because I don't think it's Mercury. It's not Mercury retrogrades, but I don't know what's going on. Anyway, so I had to do some editing. So that'll come later today. Anyway, so let's get to our topic. Now, I don't know about y'all, but The topic for this week that's been coming and coming, whether it was in an individual thing, because I attended this awesome. I love Tara Brock. If you have not done any of her stuff, she is freaking amazing. I actually have studied her RAIN protocol, which I love, and sometimes I will use with clients, and then also, and I've had included in other programs previously. But I did a RAIN Partners class, and it was phenomenal. So I'm waiting to see what other things she sends out for that, for trainings. But I probably will start doing workshops in that because it was freaking amazing. But the thing that I got out of it, and that I've been witnessing others saying the same thing, is that there is just, everybody just keeps talking about, please be kind to others, be kind, outward. Okay. So I want to talk about manifesting compassion from the inside out, because usually this kind of stuff comes up during the holidays, like November, December timeframe, where everyone's like, let's be kind to everybody. It's kind of like a Christmassy thing. It's why everybody loves Christmas so much, because we love seeing love. There's all this like compassion and love and kindness for others and giving to charities and all this kind of thing. But and usually it kind of dies down when everybody goes back to work. Not to say that that's a good thing, because I don't think it is. I think being kind and compassionate year round is what our aim ought to be. But this year in particular, I think because we are kind of coming back together in ways that we are physically and more populated areas, and we're coming out of the last years, and our physical surroundings maybe have changed. I know in Nashville they've changed, lots more people and buildings and things. Maybe by you it's the same, or maybe there's less people by you. But either way, I've been noticing, especially with all the things going on recently in the world, people just really talking about be kind, be kind, be kind. And on the face, I want to put out there, this sounds like a good thing, that everyone's like, you need to be kind and you need to do this, and you and I think, we're coming from a place, and who wouldn't want to show up in the world where you go out in the world and you go to the Target and everybody's pleasant. Nobody's vying for a parking spot. No cars are beeping at each other on the way from the house to the Target. Nobody's cutting anybody off in traffic. All of the cash register attendants or the sales representatives, and the other, your fellow shoppers that are there, and that everybody is understanding of each other and kind to each other and compassionate to each other. And that would be great. However, that's not life. I mean, just in the 10-minute or 15-minute drive from where we live to a Target, because we have a couple, the last time I went, people are driving more erratically. I don't know if it's just because they're not used to driving after all the last couple of years, or they're just kind of in their own little world. We've all witnessed folks be mean to each other. We maybe have had a moment of meanness towards one another, or been the recipient of direct meanness. And of course, we want everybody to be kind to each other. I mean, who would not want that? But we have to remember that what are we really doing? What are we really doing? We're being triggered by other people's stuff, interactions with others, but we can't live in a cave. We just can't. We tried that last couple of years, and now everybody's like, I want out of my cave. I've been in the cave. I want to come out. Whether you were in the cave and you kind of didn't know what you were doing in the cave, or you spent the last 2 years in the cave sorting through your shit in the proverbial Joseph Campbell, Return of the Jedi, or Empire Strikes Back cave, where you took what you had in there with you and you dealt with it, and you came out and you're like, I'm ready to come out the cave, and I'm dwelling with a bunch of people who didn't. Whatever your scenario is. My unpopular take, and this is fair warning, if you don't want to hear about accountability, and I'm not going to shame, I'm not blaming, I'm not anything. I'm just bringing awareness to the idea of accountability of self. Okay. So if that's not something you want to hear, this probably is not the channel for you. And I'm probably not the coach for you, but if you are looking to make that shift of self accountability in this situation where we're all shouting that everybody should be kind, my unpopular take is that kindness has to start within self, because we can't wander through the world expecting everyone else to know what our triggers are, especially if you're driving down the street in your own little encased little vehicle and somebody next to you is in their own little encased. You're not going to be able to even have a conversation with that person if they cut you off, other than beeping your horn and taking on maybe their anger, which that doesn't support anybody. So the energy of this week is to start realizing a couple of things. One, I want to be really clear. This is not about the whole like everybody needs to be kind to everybody else. The grander scope of this is about how we, first of all, um, the kindness starting at home means, and what does that really mean in the sense of being accountable to self and thusly external? So the energy of this week isn't necessarily about kindness, it's about understanding your duality. And people think the duality is just we are spiritual beings having a human experience, which is all delightful. You know, it's a lot of like blah blah blah. We have a whole slew of platitudes that are we spew out in the woo-woo world. But notice my librarian. But what does it really mean? Shouting a platitude or reading a meme or a tweet doesn't help you worth a crap. It's like a chocolate bar at Target. Oh, it's a great idea. And I ate it. And now 3 hours later, I'm having a sugar high and a sugar crash. And I haven't fixed shit. I haven't healed one thing other than I like my instantaneous gratification of chocolate. So that said, understanding your duality means that while you are wandering around the world in your own experience, that experience of self, what is it like to be you? Like, hello, Alexa. Hello, Tori. Good morning. What is it like to be you guys? And that, and experience, and what's it like to be Michelle? And what's it like to be Buddy, who's the puppy I light over here off camera, who is freaking out over the rain? He's pawing at me. What does it mean to be you? And experience not just you, but the interaction of you and I, right? That's the reason why Source creates extensions, which are us, because you are not just you in the individual. You are also not, you know, we all talk about there's you and then you're one with God, but even saying it that way creates this idea of separateness. And that's not how this works, okay? The duality is you experience your own individual life while at the same time, there isn't an either or, it's while at the same time understanding that you are not part of, but rather extension of. Think about the difference. When you think about being part of, you're one of many, right? But if you're an extension of, you are one with one. And you might witness other manys who are also one with one. So you are extension of universal oneness of God, or as some say, as I like to say, extensions of source energy. Whatever thing is most comfortable for you to say, but it's all the same concept, okay? So if you can understand the duality in which you live, you'll understand why your thoughts and your actions that you take in your own daily navigation, in your own healing, like when we talk about, you know, you healing your trauma heals your ancestral upline. That's why this is, because when you are an extension and you realize how connected even your individual experiences, the energy flows not just in one direction but in both, up that spiritual umbilical cord back to the source energy of which you are an extension. When you can get that understanding, that's where all of these platitudes kind of come together, and you have an aha moment where you're like, oh, so the reason why, if I am self-loathing for any reason, I witness other people suffering that same thing. Okay. Or if I'm mean to other, I feel shitty about it later. Well, at least I hope you do, unless you're sociopath. But the thing is, that when we talk about this thing, this is where Gandhi, everybody loves to post Gandhi quotes. Loves it. Be the change you want to see in the world. Okay? But the change, this is a great thing it's a meme, it's a tweet. But what does it mean? It means it starts again within you, the change you want to see in the world, whether it be in your home, in your extended family, anywhere in the world, because we are experiencing and witnessing a lot of stuff going on in the world. And a lot of us feel helpless because we are so far away, but we might have friends who are of certain descents, whether it be Ukrainian or some other descent where there is suffering, that, we want to be helpful, but we're not quite sure how. This is how. Start within. It might feel selfish, but when I talk about self care, I don't mean go get your nails did. No. I mean, understand, what do I need to do within myself to reverberate this energy back across the umbilical cord, back to the collective of source energy, so that other folks maybe can tap into it and do the same. Now, imagine if everybody that saw this video, whether you're live streaming with me right now or you are watching this 3 days later, if we all sent out that kind of, if we all chose today to be kinder to self, and thusly, when we went out into the world, how are we going to bring that energy into every experience we have? That's what I'm talking about. So here's the thing. Going on Facebook, and this is my unpopular opinion, and I do have friends that do this, and I am not shaming you. I'm just trying to bring an awareness. And I love everyone that does this because I know you are suffering and I want you to heal, because I'm here to witness it, but it is so hard to witness everybody's suffering and work through my own shit too. I think that's why I'm seeing a lot of this, which is people are posting, and it's really interesting because they're like either posting be kind, they might be posting where they're saying you should be grateful for what you have because of all these other folks suffering, and then there's other people shaming those people for saying, well, why are you shaming people into gratitude instead of, there's just this whole it's a strange who can be kinder thing going on. And to me, it's really interesting because you see a lot of folks who are on the spiritual path doing this. And it's almost like this ninja judgment thing where we think we kind of have come past this, but, and I know this is my unpopular opinion, but we haven't, and we got to be aware of it to say, ooh, I'm yelling at someone that they should just be effing grateful that they live in a country where they don't got to worry about a bomb falling on their head. And yeah, I mean, who wouldn't be? But if that person is in their microcosm going through some serious shit, it might be equivalent to that. And understanding that, people need a space to just be. And here's the funny thing. I'm not going to go into the shooting of that either, because I'm in awareness saying, oh, I need to stop, that whole thing. I do want to say this. Whatever you're feeling is okay. If you're frustrated, if you're scared, if you're joyous, if you're feeling guilty about being joyous because other people are frustrated and scared, it is okay. Wherever you are is perfectly and unconditionally okay. I do want to say this. If our belief system that we all I'm assuming we're all kind of on the same page and belief system. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching me or reading other woo-woo books. But if our belief system is on the same page, the understanding of everything is a mirror, everything is a mirror, right? So if you're seeing other people, like when I started seeing all this kindness where it was like, I'm witness this person judging somebody else, judging somebody else, judging somebody else. And I'm like, okay, what is this trying to tell me? Oh, I'm not loving self unconditionally. And that's a whole other thing that I was, you know, guided to through a class I went to over the weekend. But the more I dove into that, the more I was like, okay, here's the lesson. If I'm seeing, and I think because other people are posting it, they're seeing it too. And that's why I'm bringing this up here. It's if I'm seeing all this, Where within myself am I judging myself for feeling certain ways? Where am I not unconditionally just allowing myself to be? And as such, where within myself do I need to flow more kindness and compassion? Because if I can flow it into myself and I can bring down that Christ consciousness energy into my heart center and give myself the love in the spaces that are not being loved for one reason or another over your programming, and you can heal all that stuff. When you do that, you can consciously stay in awareness. And before you leave the house to go to the Target, you can say to yourself, okay, self, in this moment, in this 24-hour period, or even in just this 1 hour where I'm going to go out into the peoples, I'm going to bring this love and kindness that I have given myself, and I'm going to flow it within self, through self, because it's there, because I'm giving it to myself, to others. I will show up in kindness regardless. And here's the weird thing, when you do, when you flow with that kind of compassion for yourself, the conversations you have with others are so freaking amazing. And that they then can take that same, oh, it is permissible for me to be kind. I don't have to have a wall up. I don't have to do these other things. I can be kind to everybody. But I don't have to go on social media. I don't have to go over here and scream from a rooftop that everybody should be kind because I'm offering and receiving at the same time. It's my experience because I choose it. I have thusly manifested compassion and kindness for myself, for others, and that which I experience. I hope like this like was one of those aha moments for me. Not, not in the sense that I didn't know this. I think this is one of those moments like the whole thing was an upside down, oracle card where it's um oh, I forgot that I knew that, or I knew that, but I wasn't quite sure of the meaning. So this is what I'm talking about. So once you kind of figure out where is it that I need to flow more kindness and compassion to within self, the second step is where can I bring that out? Where can I bring that energy and engage with it in the world? Where? Okay, those are the things. So again, I want to be really clear. I am not trying to shame or blame or guilt anybody into this way of thinking. I know it's unpopular because it is so much easier and more comforting to be like, that guy's a dick, and that's why I'm upset, as opposed to going, I wonder, it's very unfortunate that he's a dick because I'm sure that's not going to work so well for him. But why am I witnessing it? And it doesn't mean why am I a dick as well when we talk about mirroring. It's more, where am I not treating myself well inside that I need to heal so that I don't witness this outside anymore? That's when I say distilling it down. Whatever you're witnessing isn't so much that when we talk about the mirror that you're doing that too. What it is saying is whatever feelings come up where you're like, oh, I don't like that. It's causing me discord because it's triggering me. Okay, where's it triggering me? Oh, they're being a jerk by saying something. And the fact is that when you do say that, what comes up for you and where are you treating yourself that way that you need to heal? That's what I'm getting at. Okay. So, journal prompts for this week, and I'll pull some cards, but journal prompts for this week would be, where within self do I need to flow more kindness and compassion? Where within self do I need to flow more kindness and compassion? And what does that look like for me? Is the second one. What does that look like for me? It doesn't mean I gotta up my self-care stuff and like go buy me a CBD bath bomb and like get my toes done. That's different. This is, what does it look like for me? Is it like with me? Is it unconditionally loving self no matter what? No matter what my body looks like, no matter what my smarts look like, no matter what, if I show up with makeup on or not, doesn't matter. That's mine. What's yours? You don't have to tell me. I'm just saying, look for that. And then once you kind of look at that, it's really interesting because later you got to work on it. But the fact is that um, once you kind of reveal that for yourself, it's like turning the light on and realizing that the thing in the corner isn't a ghost, it's just a towel on a chair. So that you can kind of go, oh, I know I'm not, I said to Darren this morning, I'm not solving for X anymore. I know what X is and I can do my math problem because 2 + X = blah, blah, blah. Whereas before I couldn't get to the answer because it was like, okay, well, I don't know what X is. But if you can do this, you can figure out what X is, and then what does that look like for you is the next step. And then the third journal prompt is, how can I bring my internal kindness and compassion out into the world? This doesn't have to be like ginormous. You don't have to be Mother Teresa showing up in the slums of Calcutta. It might be just going and being kind to the cash register attendant. That might be it. It might be, you know, doing something like for my puppy. I was going to do all this work today, but I'm going to go and be with puppy because he's having a moment with the weather. So it might be something like that. Okay. Now, lastly, I'm going to pull some cards. And if you want the journal prompts, you got to sign up for the newsletter because they go in the newsletter. So address is down here, or rather link. Link is down here. So let's pull some cards. And I think the cards, what we need to ask them is not so much where is it for us, but what do we need to know about this process? What do we need to know about this process? So I'm just going to do this and we'll pull some cards. We might go a little long because I only got about 4 minutes left, but okay, this is card number 1. Ooh. Yes, Queen. 2 and 3. Ooh, yes. Okay. So the first one is Peacock, let it shine. How are we going to do this? We're going to lean into that which our light is. Like I always say when I teach the life purpose versus soul purpose classes is everyone's soul purpose is the same because if we are extensions of source energy is about joy and love and prosperity and just being in the non-resistant space because everything is ours in abundance. It's how much we choose to resist that keeps it from us. So if we can, understand that that's our space soul-wise is that there is no resistance and we can lean into that. Our life purpose is how we manifest, how we express that in the material world that we've chosen to manifest our personhood in. So whatever that is, however you choose to manifest that into being, into this material world, what your light is, that love, that prosperity, that abundance, whatever that looks like for you, it's time to let it shine because that is where, we have to have that inner compassion and love and kindness for self so that we can shine it out to others. Notice how I love this. So notice how in the card, the peacock here, that's the heart, right? And the heart is shining this big stream of light. So you're shining out your light into the world. And the way to do this is love. Love and kindness for self so that you know how to not only shine it out for others, but how to have it show up for you. Then life is speeding up. Like this is a shock, but a card came in upside down. So maybe we're not realizing it because the upside down card means I didn't know that. I forgot that I knew that, or I don't want it. It might be an I don't want it because I'm kind of dealing with the I don't want it. So I'm assuming that might be something you're dealing with too is life is speeding up. We're kind of like coming out of the gate almost, we're in March, albeit the beginning of March. But I feel like we were so used to the nice kind of calm pace when everybody was like in their own little zone. But now everybody's kind of coming out. So remember, life is speeding up. So we don't want to fall back into those old habits of hiding or not giving self-kindness and compassion, or beating ourselves up. When life speeds up, when things get too fast, I don't know about you, but they feel overwhelming. Okay. So I think what we need to do is to say to ourselves, you know what, it's not up to society or anybody else. It's not even up to like your mother-in-law or, a relative that's a little bit like into, I want what I want and I don't give a shit what you want kind of a thing. It's, I need to have my boundaries. Maybe I need to figure out what those are so that I can keep my life at a pace that feels good for me and also is healthy for me. I think that's the big deal because we noticed a lot that things were unhealthy over the past couple of years. So if things feel like they're speeding up, it's because they are. But this is when we need to start, instituting our boundaries, our healthy boundaries, so that we can shine our light. So if we institute, because these are helper cards, remember this is the answer, and these next two are helpers. So if life is speeding up and I'm not noticing it, or it's an I don't want to, yes, Tori says, I don't wanna. Yeah, I don't want to either, girlfriend. No. But the thing is that it's just there. Again, we don't want to look at the world and tell them, you need to change for me. It's I got to change so that I can interact with the world in a healthy way. It's like, I think it was Wayne Dyer. It was like, if I changed the inner me, the outer world would change. I'm paraphrasing. I'm sure it was something much more eloquent, but understand that that's where our boundaries need to come in. And then chameleon spirit, act as if. So notice how the chameleon changes colors. This doesn't mean be inauthentic. I want to be really clear. It's more about act as if. So right now, it might be, I'm not ready to like look at that. It's just too scary. Sometimes it takes a lot of courage to really pull back the curtain. Like I'm going to share this weekend. It was like I kind of had this idea of what my block was, what this next, new level, new devil. What is my block for this? And for months and years, I thought this is my block, and I was wondering, why is it not going away? I don't understand, because it was really written on a curtain. Think of it this way: it's written on a curtain, and I had to have the courage to pull back that curtain and see what was really causing that not enough, that feeling of not enough,ness. And it was this whole idea that love is conditioned that I need to now heal. And so, if that's you too, I can honestly tell you, I'm not telling you do anything I have not done. I know like how challenging it can be to do these kinds of things. But if you can, when you are ready, and not like I always am like, when you're ready, not like just because somebody told you, but when you're ready and you feel like you're doing this, pull back that curtain and see what is really behind. Is there more? Because if you ever talk to a coach that really knows like the good questions and stuff, they let you talk and let you talk, and you think you're done. And then they'll say something like, do you have more to share? And then all of a sudden, more stuff pours out, and you're like, where the hell did that come from? That's what I'm talking about. Keep pulling back the curtain, pull away those layers of onion. Okay. But what this means is act as if isn't so much fake it till you make it, but start thinking about, what will it feel like if I shine my whole self? What would it feel like if I was loving and kind to myself? Because if you can't, like I always say, Louise Hay used to say, well, if you can't, because people be like, you need to forgive someone to get past something, right? And sometimes people do things that are just so intensely hurtful that I've had clients say, I can't forgive them. I am not there yet. I'm like, okay, are you willing to forgive them at some point? And they may even say at that point, I am not willing because that person is just but such a dick, and they just hurt me so bad, and they've hurt other people I love, and I don't know if I'm willing. And I say, okay, so let's go back just even further. Are you willing to think about maybe forgiving them sometime in the future when you are in a place that feels better? Like, would you be willing to open that door at a time when you think that you can feel better about it? Usually at that place, people go, okay. And I'm like, okay, so act as if in that place. So if we move this from like the idea of forgiving people that maybe have hurt us to more personal, one-on-one internal action where we have hurt self, are you willing to forgive yourself? Are you willing to love yourself? Are you willing to give yourself that kindness and compassion? And in some cases, sometimes there's people that are just so hurt and so like not quite sure how to do this. It's more important for you to understand that the act as if isn't fake it. Don't fake the love. The act as if would be to think about, okay, if I could love and be kindness and compassionate to self, what would that look like? Am I willing to think about doing that? Am I willing to shift into that, even if it feels weird? And even if right now it's kind of challenging, move back another step and say, am I willing to think about being kind and compassionate to self? And give it some thought, give it some energy to kind of maybe open that space up, because it might be that the reason you're not is because there's so much pain there. And that giving yourself a little bit of love might feel so strange. And that's okay. But as long as you're willing to just dabble a little bit in the concept of giving self love and compassion and kindness, so that you can then be that change that you want so terribly to see in the world for yourself, that's where the shifts and the changes happen. Okay. So this week's energy is all about, where within myself do I need to flow more kindness and compassion to? We don't need to post on the social media about how everybody else is being mean. We need to look in the mirror and say, where can I be kinder to myself? Where can I love myself more? And then what does that even look like for me? Does it mean that I give myself time to read a book? Does it mean that I take the day off without beating myself up for not working, or working and then beating myself up for not taking a day off? Does it mean that I just sit in quiet and beingness and drink a cup of tea and look out the window and admire nature, even if it's a rainy, cloudy day? Does it mean I reflect and write things down and say, here's all the things that I love about myself? What does it look like for you? And then how I know baby is being very anxious. He knows. He's like, Mama, you're 5 minutes past your 30 minutes. Come on. Poor little man. I'll show you guys him. See, here he is. Here's baby. Look, boo. See, oh, the bubba. That's bubba. He's visiting. He's standing on my chair, y'all. And then lastly, how can I bring my internal kindness and compassion out into the world? Okay. And then our support is let it shine. Remember, peacock shines from the heart. Just because life is speeding up doesn't mean you have to. Make sure you know what your boundaries are, and then have, even with your loved ones, even the ones that you love so much, but they're pushy, make sure you enforce those boundaries. And then act as if, not so much fake it till you make it, but make sure you're feeling into what am I willing to do? Whether it is I'm willing to love myself and be more compassionate and do the things that I need to do that, or if that's a challenge for whatever reason, am I willing to think about it? Am I willing to ponder? Am I willing to journal about this? Am I willing to write out why? Okay. That's what this is for this week. Those of you who are on the newsletter, you'll be getting the replay for this and your journal prompt. And then those of you who were on the workshop over, I think on Friday, you will get your replay this afternoon probably, because I got a love on like anxiety boy over here. And next I got to, let's see, I'm trying to think. So I got to do that and then some other stuff. And then I will be sending the replay out with all of the things. But let me finish. I know he's a sweet baby. He starts feeling anxiety and I need to get him his peppermint. I feed my dog peppermint cookies to chill because peppermint is soothing for anxiety, by the way, if anyone needs to know. You can buy peppermint flavored puppy cookies. And so replay coming, join the email list, like and subscribe if you love the video. And I think that's it, right, buddy? He's like, yes, please get off and come hug me because I don't have a thunder shirt. I have you. So I love y'all for joining me, whether you are here live or you're watching the replay. Thank you, everybody. And other than that, I will see you next Monday. And until then, I'll see you in the Vortex. I love you guys so much. Have a wonderful week. Be kind and compassionate. Self first. And then be that change you want to see in the world. Okay? Love you, love you, love you. Mwah, mwah. Bye.